What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to the $10,000 SBA Eidl stimulus. Secretary Mnuchin. It is Monday, July the 6th, 2020. Please do me a huge favor. Give this video a thumbs up, hashtag Eidl with your comments below. And if you're new to this channel, you might want to subscribe and hit that bell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a fantastic July the 4th weekend. I know that I did. Today is a very big deal. We're going to address the Honorable Steven Mnuchin, U.S. Treasury Secretary of the United States. This, of course, follows three other videos that I've done over the last couple of weeks. The first to Ms. Jovita Carranza, the head of the SBA, Senators Rubio and Cruz, and of course followed up by President Donald J. Trump. This video is arguably the biggest of all. You may have noticed in the last 24 hours, we have added more than 1,000 subscribers to this channel. Our engagement rates have more than tripled in the last 2 weeks, and I believe that's a confluence of events, starting with the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, accusing Ms. Jovita Carranza and the Small Business Administration of violating the law, refusing to turn over documents and grant interviews that they've been asking for since the middle of April. In conjunction with that, we have been emailing over 1,000 points of light. Every senator, every congressman and woman, every governor, every radio and television station, more than 1,000 strong, gets a copy of each and every single one of our videos. We are reaching what I might consider to be a critical mass, an inflection point, a crescendo. Something big, in my opinion, is about to happen. Like this video, you must share it on your wall if you want your $10,000 cash advance and a loan north of 150 grand. This is it. Secretary Mnuchin, it's an honor. Like you, I spent many, many years on Wall Street. I didn't have the good fortune of being a movie producer in Hollywood. You are credited, of course, with financing some of the biggest movies of all time, including X-Men and Avatar. In my opinion, Secretary Mnuchin, you're one of the brightest minds in all of President Trump's cabinet. I've seen more than a dozen press conferences that you were present in over the last 2 months, and might I say, for the most part, you get an A+. But there's two things that are deeply troubling to me, Secretary Mnuchin. The first is a report I read last week from the JP Morgan Chase Institute that stated half of American small business owners that got PPP are 30 days or less from running out of cash. And if you're a minority-owned business, Secretary Mnuchin, 75% are knocking on heaven's door with less than 30 days of cash on hand. And that's after getting the PPP. Might I remind everyone who's watching, most of us, including myself, never got PPP. Most of us, including myself, didn't qualify for traditional unemployment. And by the time you may have gotten PUA or PDUC, you'd already drawn down all your credit cards, only to have the SBA hit you with 10 or 15 hard pulls. Some of you have seen more than a 100-point drop in the last 3 months. In other words, your credit history has been ruined. When you combine the fact that not only did most of us not get PPP or traditional unemployment, and even when you backdate PUA or PDUC, sir, that amounts to about $10,000. So you take your average small business owner. Let's say she's making $20,000 a month. She's been forced into lockdown since March. March, April, May, and all of June. That is $80,000 of what the SBA might call economic loss. And all she's been managed to get is $1,000 per employee grant, combined with maybe $10,000 of backdated PUA and PDUC, sir? You tell me, how does a family of 4 that's used to making $80,000 over the last 4 months survive on 11 grand? I'm not so certain that you and the administration understand that most of my audience, regardless of race, color, creed, or political persuasion, is about that close to going under. They've seen an 80 to 90% drawdown in their income. And then now you've got states like Arizona, Texas, where I live in Georgia, and of course, Florida, where I spent half my life. 4 states that your administration, including the president, are going to need come November 3rd. Which leads me to a letter from April the 25th, sir. I have done my research. I have turned over every rock, every stone. I've even had Republican lawyer friends of mine help me find a single shred of evidence to contradict what I'm about to share with my audience, and I can't find it. On April the 25th, Senator Schumer and Speaker Pelosi of the Democrat Party sent a letter to the SBA asking for documents, telling them to get their ass moving, that they had constituents that were waiting in the queue, not getting service from Tier 2 agents. And in that letter, Secretary Mnuchin, the Democrats accused the Republican administration, the same administration who appointed Jovita Carranza, head of the SBA in January of this year, as being solely responsible for the $1,000 per employee grant, in addition to the $150,000 limit, which is traditionally $2 million on an EIDL loan. Sir, I've got a question for you. And I would ask that my 1,000 points of light back me up on this when you follow up with Secretary Mnuchin in the next 24 hours. Sir, is it true that the Republican administration is solely responsible, based on more than 30 senators and congressmen of the Democrat Party, for limiting the grant to $1,000 per employee and the loan for $150,000, as Senator Ben Cardin, another Democrat from Maryland, said in the Senate hearing on June 10th? Is it true? Because, sir, I have actually voted Republican more often than Democrat in my life. But I got to tell you something. When I cannot find a single Republican in your administration that has come in front of the camera or in writing say, it wasn't us that told Miss Jovita Carranza to limit it. What are we to believe, sir? I know it's an election year. I believe half of what I see and nothing of what I hear. But when you don't have a single Republican, not even in the Senate hearing on June 10th, stand before the American small business owner and say, it wasn't us that made the SBA limit the grant to $1,000 an employee or the loan at 150 G's. I'm asking my audience, don't get emotional about what I just told you. If you're a Republican, you should be upset at what I just said. If you're a Democrat, it probably makes you want to vote for your opposing candidate even more. All I want is an answer. Who gave authorization to Miss Jovita Carranza to limit the grant to $1,000 per employee and the loan to $150,000? And more importantly, sir, now that we know, based on the J.P. Morgan Institute survey, that we are less than a month away of up to 3/4 of our small business owners, the backbone of this country, from going under, when, sir, when are you and the president going to give the authority to Ms. Carranza that you will, from this day forward, honor the intent and the law known as the CARES Act as written, and give every single one of my members on this channel, regardless of race, color, creed, or political party, the $10,000 of cash advance that was promised to them in the CARES Act? When are you going to process over 100,000 people in reconsideration for denial as we speak? And when are we going to see CARES Act 2 actually take care of small businesses of 10 employees or less that are minority owned? And if you have been in trouble with the law, you shall be forgiven. Secretary Steven Mnuchin of the U.S. Treasury, I have tremendous respect for you and the office of the presidency of the United States. But I must tell you, on behalf of over 11,000 small business owners and the families that they support. I am deeply troubled, in case you didn't hear me, that not a single Republican, not one anywhere, has stepped in front of the camera to say it wasn't you who gave authorization to $1,000 per employee on the grant and $150K on the loan. We want answers. More importantly, we want the intent and the law known as the CARES Act, which includes 10 grand of cash advance, honored as written. May God bless you in the United States of America.